Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Antaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Oh, Kiran, this is fallen down. Okay, 270 Bhagavad Gita, contents of the Gita summarized. Bhagavad Gita as it is, commented by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder, Child, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Apuryamanam achala pratistam samudram api pavasyanti yadvad tadvad kamad yam pravajasyanti sarve sa santim abnoti na kama kamo kami. Apuryamanam achala pratistam samudra api pavistam yadvad tadvad kamayam pravisyanti sarve sasantim amnoti nakama kami. You want to try? Apuryamana paristam samudra parisanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravisyanti sarve sasantam noti nakama kami. Okay, word for word. Apuryamanam, always being filled. Achalya pradistam, steadily situated. Samudram, the ocean. Apa, waters. Pravisyanti, enter. Yadvad, as. Tadvad, so. Kama, desires. Yam, unto whom. Pravisyanti, enter. Sarva, all. Sa, that person. Santim, peace. Abnoti, achieves. Na, not. Kamakami, onto the desires, to fulfill desires. One who desires. Okay. Translation proposed by Srila Prabhupada. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into an ocean, which is ever being filled, but is always still, can alone achieve peace, not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Okay, Srila Prabhupada's purport. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond its limit of its brink. That is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like an ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities and is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is a proof of a Krishna conscious man. one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present, because he remains satisfied in his transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steadily like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who want to fulfill desires even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, can never attain peace. The fruity workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis who are after mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in his service of the Lord and he has no desires to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from so-called material bondage. The devotees of Krishna have no material desires and therefore they are in perfect peace. Om Agyanti Mandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasta Chai Satayane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Put the bell up again. People will start ringing otherwise. Don't ring the bell, the class is going on. Yeah? So there's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Sakale Asanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Sakale Santa. That the yogis, the jnanis, and the kamis, they are never satisfied because they are always aspiring for something. Yogis want mystic powers, jnanis want to compete with the Lord. They think Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, we can also speak like that. And the karmi, they want to aspire for material desires, so they're never satisfied. Only the devotee of Krishna is satisfied. And he's like the ocean, because in the material world there's always difficulty. As long as you have the material body, you're affected by the three modes. And three modes are goodness, passion, ignorance. And also there's three kinds of miseries which affect everyone. Adhyatmic, adhibhotic, adidevic. Body and mind, other living entities, and natural disturbances. So, with all these things, for those who are surrendered to Krishna, they don't get affected by these things because Krishna gives them the strength to overcome these weaknesses. But for those who are not, they are affected by the modes of nature. And because they're on the mental platform, there's more chance of them falling into the illusion of the modes of nature and being illusioned by Maya. There are many examples in the lives of devotees to show how they are deep like the ocean. So there was an example of a devotee. There was a man. He lost his family, and he was going to commit suicide, so he put up the windows in his car, put the ignition on, and in this way he's going to commit suicide. So a devotee was doing books, and he knocked on his window. And the man opened after 3 knocks, and he said, "Why are you disturbing me?" The devotee went and he prayed to Krishna, "Please help me to help this person." So what the devotee did, he put a book on the windscreen, put one of Prabhupada's books. And the man thought, "Let me read the book before I commit suicide." So after reading the book, he found the address and became a devotee. And after that, he became Tamil president. And there were examples of someone who's going to jump over the bridge. He found a book, Prabhupada's book, he read it, then he changed his mind. Some other examples of somewhere in Russia, in concentration camp, there was a boy in concentration camps, they give you heavy language to do your work. So this boy was ignoring them, he just kept quiet. And they thought something wrong with him. So let him go free. So he met the Harinam party, became a devotee. So a deep like the ocean means like that, you always depend on Krishna. Become more internal. Now, that's the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. Non-devotees, the class is going on. Class is going on. So, a devotee is he's in connection with Krishna. So, in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the question is asked. There's 5 factors. There's a jiva, there's prakriti, there's karma, there's Ishvara, and there's time, right? Time, yeah. So, how is it that a devotee doesn't get affected by the reactions of life, whereas a non-devotee does? The answer was given that because a devotee goes by Krishna's sanction. Whereas a normal person, he goes by his own activities, so he gets the karma. So in the material world, this is always what's happening in the material world. In the Krishna's super soul, he's trying to direct the jiva back to him. And he's trying to, the jiva has mind independence. Whether to follow Krishna or not to follow. So when the jiva persists, then the Krishna says, okay, you do it at your own risk. Just like this Subhash Chandra Bose, before he's the one who actually made truce with the Chinese, right? Or with the British. And at some point he came to see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, and he asked, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur asked him, why are you fighting against the British, trying to free India and this and that? Your father's a spiritualist. Why have you become like this? But he came to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur to ask for his men, for helping in fighting against the British. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, these are thin people, they can't really fight. Better you leave them alone. So we can see even how Krishna is guiding everyone according to the how they're willing to surrender to him. So I heard one of the prime ministers of England, not so long ago, he came to the Bhaktivedanta Manor, and they were looking after him, and he put the question himself. He said, "I am doubting whether Krishna is God." So like that, see. So it shows how Krishna guides according to everyone's surrender. And because these so-called leaders, they're not ready to accept what the acharyas, the self-realized acharyas are teaching, then they have to get suffer their karma. Right? So this is what distinguishes a devotee from a non-devotee. A devotee follows Krishna's plan to the line of self-realized teachers, whereas a non-devotee makes his own plans, how to progress in life. But what they don't realize is that whatever they do, they're getting bound by karma, good and bad. For the devotee, he's doing akarma activities which don't create any karma. So this is what makes a devotee self-satisfied. So in this case, we are not even talking about advanced devotees, even those who are in the beginning stages. Without that praying to Krishna or connection through chanting, they can't really live on in life. This is so we can see when Srila Prabhupada came to the West, when he was preaching in America, he met many different difficulties, but he never compromised his teachings, right? He met this Mr. Mishra, right? And he owned his own Mayavadi ashram, right? So Prabhupada was there at some point, and Prabhupada was preaching to his followers, and he didn't like it. And later, when Prabhupada got his own place, his followers came to him. They came to Prabhupada, and so this accepting the line of the acharyas is very important. What their teachings are giving. Because if we accept their teachings, then we can come out of the material world. Prabhupada does comment in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, how people, they want to achieve something in the material world. They want quick material desires. So, for that reason, they don't turn to Krishna. They turn to the demigods. They turn to leaders in this world. In the 17th chapter, Prabhupada comments in the purport how someone in the mode of passion, he takes shelter of leaders in this world. Like he explains about one person took shelter of Hitler to gain some money in this world. And we can see for those who do that, it doesn't last long. They suffer in this material world more and more. Whereas for the devotees, because they take shelter of Krishna, who's unlimited, and is explained how Krishna is permanent, the spiritual world is permanent, holy name is permanent, The Vaishnavas are permanent. Because they take shelter of everything which is permanent, they don't get affected by the impermanent situations. In the material world, everything else is impermanent. The material world is impermanent. The, the possessions we have are impermanent. And also, Prabhupada goes to further explain how people want to get into this family, society, friendship and love. They want to establish their own communities and societies and like that. Nationalism, all this. And Prabhupada said this is all because they've turned against Krishna. They get into all these other things, which are all temporary, which are not permanent. It'll finish. So for a devotee, he should learn not to be emotional about it. He should overcome the emotional platform. He should come to a spiritual platform. So the acharyas, they give the vision how to come to that platform. They give the vision how to come to the higher platform. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he says, if the whole world spits on me but Krishna is pleased, that's my success. If the whole world throws flowers on me but Krishna is not pleased, what is my gain? So this is a high level of surrender. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is teaching us. In modern day society, they generally want to have this thing about making their own laws. They don't want to follow God's laws. Many of them don't even accept God as a person. It's only the Krishna consciousness movement is a challenge to the world, showing how Krishna is a person, how you have to surrender to Him. And you have to follow the line of the parampara. So we can see even when Prabhupada was preaching in India, he never compromised on the teachings. I think there was one group, there was one Bhagavatam reciter, he was preaching somewhere, and Prabhupada told the followers and warned everyone, don't go to him, he'll cheat you. Also we can learn from this example of deep as the ocean is many people want to be shallow. They don't want to go deep. In order to be serious, go deep into spiritual life, you have to be serious. And you have to take the right association. So people on the emotional platform, they want to care for their families and just upbringing who are not serious. They have some material affection, but that's all temporary. It's all based on karma. For a serious devotee, he doesn't go by that. He goes by what Krishna wants. Because in modern day society, the karma is not taught so much, how the karma works. They just blank it out of the picture. But the reality is karma is there, you can't ignore it. And there's an English saying, ignorance is bliss. But the reality is not bliss, it's more suffering. Because it binds you in the material world. The real happiness comes when you turn to the self-realized teachers. And in Prabhupada's time, when the Second World War was going on, Prabhupada went to all the devotees. He asked them, are you sure of any necessities? Because in the wartime, the prices go up. All the devotees said, we have no shortage of anything. So that shows how Krishna looks after his devotees. So there are examples like that. Even in 1898, there was a plague which happened in Calcutta. And millions of people live in Calcutta. So this one Babaji, he came to Prabhupada's house when Prabhupada was 2 years old. So Prabhupada was touching his knees or something, coming up to his knees. And he started the chanting of Hare Krishna all throughout Calcutta with all different groups. They all joined in. And from that chanting of Hare Krishna, the plague stopped. So Prabhupada explained in his lecture, he said, this is just a side effect of chanting the holy name. How it frees you from all material sufferings. But the real benefit of chanting the holy name, you get Krishna Prem. And the other thing is, Prabhupada says in his lectures, those who want to approach Krishna consciousness in their own way, it'll take them many births. So that's explaining Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Janmayante, Jnanam Prapadyante, Vasudam Samaham Asudulabha. Krishna says, after many births and deaths, those who have turned to me, they will understand who I am as Vasudeva. That's when one approaches Krishna in his own way. He doesn't go by what the acharyas are saying. Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said, is so easy you miss it. And the reason why we miss it, because we take wrong association, we are not serious. But the process is very easy. Prabhupada gives an example about the 7th canto Bhagavatam. He says, if you try and please other people in this world, it's difficult. People demand so much from you. Pleasing Krishna is easy because he just wants your devotion. So, Bala Bhushan, he comments in one of his quotes, he says, Krishna is an ocean of mercy, he is full of compassion. But those who don't have that faith in Krishna, they'll find it difficult to surrender to him. But this is why knowledge is important. Having knowledge, it frees you from ignorance. And also, it strengthens your faith in Krishna. Our conditioned nature is that we are too much attached to this body. Krishna is not attached to this material body like we are. And the reason why we are attached is because we are attached to our conditioning. We want to keep our independence. But if you go on a deeper platform, what is our independence? Our independence is limited. You have limited independence. The real independence comes when you surrender to Krishna. Then you get the real independence, how to do many things. In the time of when Parshuram was on Padiyatra, Kumbh Mela, There was a yogi doing austerities somewhere for 9 days. People wanted to see him. And eventually he came out and he told all his followers, he said, who am I? I'm nothing compared to what Srila Prabhupada has done. So all of you should buy the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So even they recognize who Srila Prabhupada is. And Bhaktivedanta Sagar Maharaj told an interesting story how there was a UFO which flew into one devotee's backyard or something in the forest. And these people came on the UFO and they asked his devotee, the devotee asked them, you know who Srila Prabhupada is? And they said, we know who Srila Prabhupada is, but do you know who Srila Prabhupada is? So Prabhupada's position is very special. He's chief command in Lord Chaitanya's army. And this earth planet is very, very interesting place because everything's happening here, good and bad. In higher planets, you're just burning off your good karma. Lower planets, you're just suffering your bad karma. But here, everything's going on. So everyone's interested in what's going on here. So the human form of life, in that sense, is very special. You can come out of this suffering and go back to God very quick. If you just give this one life to Krishna. Any comments or questions? Any questions? Okay. No, you have to be serious. If you're not serious, then you'll get into Maya. If you're serious, Maya will not touch you. She may give you tests, but if you're serious by your chanting and you're following sadhana properly, you have nice dealings with devotees, then Maya will not affect you. Example can be given just like if you're in front of the sun, there's no question of darkness. When you turn your back on the sun, darkness is there. So it's something like that. That's why Prabhupada said, read my books. If you read my books 1 or 2 hours every day, then you get renunciation. But Prabhupada does say that the cheated and the cheated. So some people just do want to be cheated. So Krishna sends cheater to cheat them. But if you're a serious candidate, then Krishna will guide you through the serious devotees. Just like, I'll give an example. In the time of Srila Bhakti Maharaj, there was one person. He was a sannyasi. He was very high up. And Srila Bhakti Maharaj looked up to him. This is before he became a sannyasi. But then this sannyasi had a disagreement with the GBC authorities in a meeting. So then he left. But still, Srila Bhakti Maharaj was observing him. He was watching everything he was doing. His sadhana was good, reading, chanting, everything was good. Eventually, he got a job in some company. Once he got this job, he got a relationship with his secretary, lady. And after he got married to her, everything stopped. So it seems from that example, if you're careful about not taking bad association, you take association with devotees who are serious, then Maya will not affect you. like that. Prabhupada gives an example of faith. He says, in order to do anything, you have to have faith. Without faith, you can't do anything. So he gives the example. He says, many people see plane crashes happening, but they still buy tickets to go on the plane. And they have faith in the ticket they're buying that it'll take them on their destination, right? When you're on the plane, you don't go to the pilot and question the pilot all the time that, are you going to the destination? You have faith that he's going to take you to the destination, right? So in the same way, you have to have faith in Krishna, faith in the devotees. Like that. You be careful, avoid the offenses. No, don't worry about that. No, don't worry about that. You have to see the good qualities in others, that's the main thing. As long as you have good dealings with others, you're safe. Offenses mean you're putting others down. As long as you're not putting others down, you're having good dealings with devotees, you're safe. Like that. I think we should stop. 5 minutes to go before the Gaurati happens. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram.